Today I got my I-20, but tomorrow I had already booked my interview slots. Of course, they were scattered. I got like one biometric in one city and like my interview in another, and they were a week apart. Hi, I'm Tanvi. I completed my undergrad from Lady Shri Ram College in Delhi, and after that, I was with a hedge fund for about 7 odd years. While I was thoroughly enjoying working, I decided that I needed to upskill myself, which is why I'm going for my MBA now to the US. When I started applying, I applied to 3 schools and I heard back from 2 of them. And once I decided that this is the school that I'm going forward with, I knew the one big thing for me to check off was visa. And so I wanted to get a head start, which is why I pushed my university to sort of expedite my I-20 process. I wrote to them and I followed up with them a couple of times, and they quickly turned around my I-20. And I remember I sat overnight till like 5 a.m. in the morning, filled out my DS-160, and today I got my I-20, but tomorrow I had already booked my interview slots. Of course, they were scattered. I got like one biometric in one city and like my interview in another, and they were a week apart, but I was like, I will take it. I want to sort of wrap this process up. So I did that. I got my slot for the 26th of March and my interview for the 1st of April. Yes, that's how I started April. But when that happened, I was like, I have like 15 days on me, so I really need to like prepare myself for the interview. And in order to do that, I did 2 things. One, I went over the entire list of documents that I would need. I made sure I got those documents right. Wherever I had to reach out to my parents or university, I did that and collected those documents. B, I crowdsourced questions from Reddit, YouTube, friends, all possible sources to sort of ensure that like I have like a thorough repository of questions and I have like gone over them. And comes the day of the interview. That was slightly daunting, of course. My slot was a 10:45 slot and I reached there at 9:30 because I was just like, I want to like see if they'll let me in sooner, which didn't happen. But I had to stand in the queue for about an hour, and imagine standing in scorching Hyderabad heat in an hour in a queue. It was all worth it because once I entered in, there were like 2 odd people in front of me whose visas were getting rejected, and my anxiety levels just kept shooting up. But when I got to the counter and it was my turn, turns out the interview was extremely warm and nice. And what that meant was it was easy for me to have a conversation with him. He asked me a little bit about my previous visit to the US, so I explained how I'd gone for work. He also asked me about my personal background, so where did I do my undergrad, which year, where did I work, what was my role. He also wanted to understand why I'm going to X university and how did I pick that university. So I explained why I did that, like how I enjoy the way they teach and their method of delivery. And I think he mostly just restricted his questioning to my experience, but he also touched upon my funding. So he wanted to know how I plan to sort of fund my education. And after maybe about 3 to 4 minutes of conversation, he said, your visa's approved and you're good to go. And I was beyond elated. It was like one of the best feelings. I ran loud and I hugged my parents and everybody was overjoyed. It was just like something off your head and something so humongous off your head. Like it was totally worth the 1 hour of heat. But one advice to anybody who's maybe now appearing for the visa interview would be to make sure you're precise in your answers. Like you do not waste too much of the interviewer's time. You answer the questions to the point. And B, make sure your documents are in place, right? You want to feel confident when you step into the consulate, so you make sure that your documents are correct. You have all of them. If you don't for whatever reason, then try getting a later slot and arrange those documents, but don't go in with any incomplete work on your end. So that's it. Thank you.